The UN and the US administration welcomed the announcement by the warring parties to exchange 880 detainees. The statement praised the efforts made by the UN Special Envoy and the International Committee of the Red Cross to reach this agreement. This report has more details.
The United States welcomed the major agreement facilitated by the United Nations and the International Committee of the Red Cross to release 887 detainees from the Yemen conflict. It said this agreement is an important step forward, building on the momentum of the United Nations mediated truce and a period of de-escalation that has lasted almost 1 year. The United States added that it will remain unwavering in its commitment to advancing a durable resolution to the conflict. 2 days ago, the United Nations Special Envoy for Yemen, Hans Grunberg, announced on Monday the planned release of the detainees after concluding 10 days of negotiations.
They also agreed to reconvene in mid-May to discuss more releases. They further committed to exchange joint visits to each other's detention facilities and to enable access to all detainees during these visits. I urge them to facilitate the speedy implementation of the releases and to build further on today's outcome and agree on more releases. I also encourage the parties to release additional detainees on a unilateral and ongoing basis. Today's outcome is a welcome development and positive progress towards the parties' fulfillment of their obligation under the Stockholm Agreement to release conflict-related detainees on an all-for-all basis. Today, hundreds of Yemeni families can look forward to reuniting with their loved ones, but it is important to remember that when the parties committed to the detainees exchange agreement, they made a promise not just to each other, but to the thousands of Yemeni families who have been living with the pain of separation from these dearest to them for far too long.
The deal on a prisoner exchange capped 10 days of intensive talks in Switzerland between Yemen's government and the Houthi rebels. The discussions were co-chaired by the United Nations and the International Committee of the Red Cross. The deal involved the release of over 700 Houthi prisoners, while the militia would release more than 180 prisoners, including Saudi and Sudanese troops fighting with the Saudi-led coalition. The step is seen as a crucial one that will end the suffering of many separated families and will help build confidence between the parties.